Hey, what's up? Improvement Warrior, Jason Yan, back with you again. Hope you're having a fabulous day at the studio, gym, Improvement Warrior Fitness, Athletic Revolution Hilliard. I wanted to talk to you about some tips for deadlifting, and especially deadlifting with kids, with youth. I had one athlete. What's up, Alex? What's up, Gary? Former athlete. He is a track and field athlete, basically a thrower, so discus, shot put, all that stuff. And he was telling me about his deadlift experience with his coach. Okay, it wasn't a professional strength coach. Usually, when kids are lifting at a weight room, they are usually training with the sport coach, or it's some washed up meathead, or it's some teacher, or it's just some volunteer. Very rarely in the high school, and especially in the middle school, you won't get a professional strength coach. So this guy, he told me that he injured somebody doing regular deadlifts, so now all of his deadlifts, he had them going from behind, okay? Which that person, or the strength coach, he called that deficit deadlifts, which is incorrect. It's not a deficit deadlift. A deficit deadlift is basically when you deadlift off a platform, you're increasing the deficit from where you're lifting, okay? But always make sure if your child, daughter or son is lifting, is doing deadlifts or doing any type of lift at a weight room program, that they're doing it correctly. Because deadlift, it's the one exercise, there's multiple exercises, but this is the exercise that I herniated my disc and I had sciatica, and I had that for about 3 or 4 years, and it sucked, okay? Especially in the morning before I was loose and limber. It was like walking around like I was 90 years old. It truly sucked. All exercises, if you're doing them incorrectly, you can injure yourself, and you can injure yourself severely. People have been paralyzed, people have died from lifting weights. So you want to make sure you're doing it correctly, and especially with kids who are basically sitting all day long in crappy posture, so their abs are turned off, they don't know how to turn on their butt, they don't know how to use their butt, their hamstrings are turned off, their low back, their shoulders are rounded, all that stuff, okay? So these are just a few tips that I want to give you for proper deadlifting. Number one is posture. Okay, posture is number 13 on our 13 Pillars of Health webinar. If you have not watched that webinar, watch it. ImprovementWarriorFitness.com/13 pillars. But the first thing is posture. Okay, so you can't be lifting with rounded shoulders, abs turned off. Okay, that automatically puts extra pressure on your low back. Okay. Big chest at all times, okay? If you are wearing a t-shirt, the best way to tell, go for it, baby. Best way to tell is if you're in good posture, you shouldn't have any lines in the where the shoulder meets the chest, okay? So if I round forward, now I've got a bunch of crinkled up t-shirt here, okay? So big chest, shoulders back. One way I like to do it is I will put my hands here, like namaste, yoga, praying kind of thing, and then you're basically squeezing your shoulder blades back, okay? Abs are always turned on, so they're never just completely turned off, because if you turn them off, that's when everything just collapses up here, okay? So big chest, hips back, big chest, abs always turned on, and you're going to be squeezing the butt a little bit. So this is the setup position for proper standing, setup position for basically any type of exercise that you're doing where you're standing, okay? So you're going to take that posture into the deadlift. Let me see if I can get a good camera angle here. All right. Okay. And then how you're going to set up for the bar is basically the same way, okay? So we don't want to come down and set up. Okay, we want to stand up and set up our position right now. Okay, so feet are going to be straight. I'll just do this over here with no bar.
Okay, so feet are going to be straight or slightly turned out. We don't want to have super duck feet, okay? Because there's a test you can do. You can do it right now. So stand up, have your feet pointing straight, and then you just try and squeeze your butt as hard as you can. You should be able to squeeze your butt, and you should be able to feel it. So your butt should be rock hard when you're doing this. Now you turn your feet out just a little bit. Now squeeze your butt. You shouldn't be able to squeeze it as hard. Okay, turn it out some more. Okay, more you turn it out. So if you're duck feet all the way, you can't squeeze your butt as hard. Okay, so that's an indication this position is going to give you the most strength from your butt. Okay, and a combination of butt and hips is the strongest, two strongest combo muscles that we have in the body. Okay, so the feet are straight. I'm setting up, my shoulders are back. Okay, abs slightly turned on. The heavier the weight is, the more you're going to use your abs. Okay, so this is one reason why you never ever have to do CrossFit or sit-ups, or should. Okay, and then when you're coming down, you're driving your hips back. Okay, I'm still in that same position up here, abs turned on, shoulders back, and then I grab the bar. Typically, I like to grab the bar with my hands outside my feet. Okay, different people are different depending on their heights and statures and bone structures and all that stuff. But I like to have my feet directly under my hips. That's where you have the most power. That's where you're able to jump the highest. It's where you're able to do just a bunch of things. Okay, so I'm here, same position, back is flat, and then I come up. Okay, and then I set the bar back down. Now, if you're a kid, if their legs come forward, which a lot of people do, and adults will too, butts turned off because they sit too much, that's a big issue. And they can't drive all the way back because their butt is turned off, okay? And hamstrings are turned off. That's what happens when you sit too much. Sitting is number 12 on our 13 pillars list, okay? So, what you'll see with a lot of kids, they won't set their abs. Their shoulders will be here, and when they come down, it's basically looking awful. And they're rounded here, and then they're picking up weight, and in most cases, if they're in a weight room setting, they're picking up a lot of weight, because the guy there, he just wants to show me how much weight you can lift, okay, with irregards to the form, okay? So number one thing with any training program, well, number one with a proper training program is injury prevention, then it's strength performance increase, okay? Because you can't increase your performance if you're injured, okay? So a lot of times you'll see that legs coming forward, they're not set up, they're rounded, and then they're picking the weight up looking like crap, okay? So make sure your child does not look like that. Make sure their deadlift is looking like this, shoulders back, okay? Big chest, abs turned on. First motion is always the hips go back, okay? Then they just keep going back, okay? So it's not a squat, it's just a hip hinge, and I keep hip hinging until I can grab the bar, okay? And then once I grab the bar, I'm nice and tight, I squeeze the bar, I stay in this position the entire time, I stand up, I'm back down. So it's a very small motion, okay? So kind of like shortstop or middle linebacker kind of stance. So waiting for the grounder, waiting for the running back, okay? So it's here, I'm up, okay? Also waiting for volleyball serve, okay? So you can apply the deadlift to a lot of different sport motions and everything, okay? So you're basically here, I got the bar, I pick it up, I go right back down, okay? Always driving the hips back, so deadlift, you should feel it mostly in the hamstring, okay? And as you're coming up, you'll feel it in the butt. So it's a whole body workout, okay? But the primary movers are going to be the hamstring, the butt, quads a little bit, okay? Abs will be turned on, okay? Supporting structures will be up in the upper back, the trapezius, all that stuff, okay? So make sure they're doing it correctly, and make sure you're doing it correctly, and make sure you're standing correctly, okay? And also you can sit in that same posture, because if you're sitting in that crappy posture, that's going to carry off into your daily life, okay? Pain doesn't just come, all right? The Quasimodo position, it doesn't just happen when you're 60. It starts when you're 10 years old, teenager, 20, 30, 40, with crappy posture. And if you keep doing that, then things are gonna get worse and worse and worse, okay? So you gotta have strong upper back to be able to do that all day long. And yeah, so make sure they're doing it correctly, because if they're not doing it correctly, then things are gonna break down, and that's when injury can occur. The more times you do a repetition, or the more times you move with incorrect posture, then it's a movement fault. The more movement faults we have, the less we're able to move without pain, okay? And usually when you have pain, we go to the doctor. Doctor's going to prescribe some prescription drugs, or they're going to recommend surgery. Surgery is the last thing you want to do because it can be fixed. But the most important thing is preventative, okay? We want to prevent it before it happens. Prevent injury before it happens, okay? So that deadlift posture, that setup posture, that's how you should stand. That's how you should pick up a weight, whether it's 500 pounds, 300 pounds, 200 pounds, 100 pounds, or it's a pencil, okay? Always pick things up in good form. Be mindful of what you're doing. That's it. Have a great day. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior. If you have questions, let me know.